Idaho team. As another part of our Relias series, I'm going to show you guys how to do some reports. So, once you're logged in and on your dashboard, go ahead and click onto Reports. There are a lot of different report types that Relias has. Again, we don't fully use all of the things that Relias has to offer at this moment, but we do use enough that allows us to run some of these reports and be meaningful. Usually we're just going to look for course enrollments and completions. The other options would be training plans, which would be more about running reports to see how people have completed a whole training plan, learner profile, course analytics. So if we were wanting to assess exam scores after courses, course evaluations, we would potentially use those. Live events, if we have a lot of attendance or people signing up and doing a lot of filtering through that way, we could have those reports. And then skills checklists. Right now we're not really utilizing skills checklists, but maybe in the future as we adapt to more technology we will. And then additional other reports, again, that we just don't really need to use. So the ones that we're primarily going to use are course completion history. You're rarely going to need to know who's enrolled in a course unless they've actually completed it. Course status, again, you're not really going to need to know any of these. So I primarily just use course completion history. Once you've opened the report, it's going to ask you to filter by hierarchy. If you do not select one, it will select all. I doubt you want to run a report for the entire company, so I highly recommend choosing one or more hierarchies. Right now, let's go ahead and run a report for Boise Supported Living. Then it wants to know my courses. If I don't check anything here, it's going to do all courses. So, I mean, if you want to know every single course that every single employee in Boise Supported Living has done, awesome. If not, click Add Module. Okay, so I actually want to test for expiration dates for reoccurring training. So I'm going to go ahead and search for therapeutic options. I want it to be this live event because that's where all my users are enrolled in. I'm going to add. Alright, so then you'll see my module here. So it's only going to be searching for this course under this hierarchy and then any other attributes that I select. So maybe I wanted it under Boise Supported Living, but I actually really just want it to be under one supervisor, or one location, or one department. I can customize my report from there as well. Maybe I don't want it to just show active, but inactive or all. Maybe I only want it to show for people who were hired in 2011, or who were hired in the last 60 days. I could choose there. Then I have report output. Do I want it to show who's completed it, who hasn't completed it, or all? For the case of this report, I want to know who has not completed therapeutic options in Boise Supported Living within a certain due date. So here's my date range. Alright, we'll go ahead and we'll go back to 3/14 just to see if there's anyone that has been expired for that long. If there have, we have other problems, but alas. And then here's my end date. So if I leave it at where it is right now, it's only going to show me who's expired. If I want to see who's going to be becoming expired, I want to change the date. So let's say that I want to choose for the rest of the year. I'll go ahead and go over to December 31st. So now it's looking at who has not completed therapeutic option, who has been assigned to from this date to this date. And then it gives me optional columns. I don't care about the department, they're all in the same department. Location, sure. Job title, don't care about. There's no final exam for TO. So I'm just going to have it select location. I could also have it choose other things if I wanted to, like supervisor, hire date, various other things. Okay, so now that I have all these things tailored, I'm going to go ahead and run report. Alright, it's going to go ahead and give me all of the review of the selections that I chose, and then it's going to have my report. Now this report is actually 2 pages, so I could go over to see the other page, and it will show me that information. Go back to the first page. Each of these little options also has a customizable option. So let's say that I want to do by due date, so I can see who's coming up most recent. Okay, so this person has been expired. So has this person. So has this person. Luckily, this person's a new hire, so they're not actually expired. They're still going through orientation, right? But this allows me to know who exactly is coming due, when they're coming due, so that I can be proactive in getting them enrolled in the course. Maybe I want to sort it by user location. I can do that as well. Maybe that just makes it easier so I can copy just these employees and send the email to their supervisor. One thing I like to do is I actually like to export this. So this little save up here, I can export to multiple files. I like to export it to Excel. It's going to go ahead and open up an Excel document for me here. I want to enable editing. And this lets me kind of mess around with the columns. So for example, if I'm sending this out to my supervisors, they don't need all of this. Right? They don't need the Relias user ID. They don't need to know that it's not completed. That's the point of the email. But everything else they might need to know. So maybe I'll put it like that. Then I could copy this, put it into an email, send it out, and let them know these employees are coming due. You can also change things like the size. So that's just a helpful way that I found to help communicate these things to the supervisor pretty quickly. Now let's say that I've run this report and I realized, oh man, I actually wanted to do it for CPR and therapeutic options. Well, I could go back to reports and run a whole new report, but if I only want to change one small thing in the report, I can actually just go up here to edit filters. It's going to bring me back to this page and everything's going to be exactly the same. So I can make whatever small adjustment it is that I need to. Alright, CPR. And I want to go ahead and choose Idaho CPR First Aid. Add. Alright, so now I have both of these courses that it'll be running this report for. Everything else I kept the same. I'm going to go ahead and run report. And then if you scroll down, you'll see the course is now meaningful because it's going to show me which course is it. Is it CPR or is it TO? And I could also sort. So I can have it list all CPR and then all TO. And I could also have it by due date. So let's say I click due date first and then I click course. Okay. It's automatically going to keep it in alphabetical order. It's not necessarily going to keep the due dates in order, however. So if you wanted to keep the due dates in order, you might just want to run one report for CPR, one report for TO, and that would allow you to do that. And again, I could export this, customize it, and then send it out in an email if I wanted to. So that's the primary reports that we would be running, is just the course completion to know who's taken a course, who hasn't taken a course, and when are these courses coming due. Now remember, in order for this report to pull any data, they have to be actively enrolled in a course. It's not going to pull someone who's not actually enrolled with a due date on their CPR because it's not going to know that they have CPR due. So you want to make sure that you have actively put them into CPR first aid reoccurring, and that way every time that you enter a new CPR completion, it automatically readjusts their due date. You can pull the report and it will come up accurately. If there's any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I would love to answer them and assist you guys in using Relias to the fullest of its capacity. Thank you.